Who recapped this episode? It was Andre all along. What's up, it's Andre, and it's time once again to talk about WandaVision. I saw episode 7, and this show is just getting more and more insane. Spoiler alert, if you don't want any spoilers, you've been warned. You can jump out now, you can go watch the show and come back, but I'm letting you know, spoilers. Definitely seems to be taking inspiration from a lot of modern sitcoms, particularly modern sitcoms that break the fourth wall, shows like The Office and Modern Family. The opening felt very much like The Office, showing different shots of the city, except every shot has the name Wanda in it somewhere. And the music that was playing in the background totally felt like, well, let's sound like The Office theme as much as possible, but not enough to get sued. It was like... There was also a moment where Wanda's name was written on a videotape. I was like, is that the Goldbergs? What I found interesting was they were showing all these various shots of the city or different objects, and it had Wanda's name in it. But there was one shot where it looked like a ransom note. You know, all the letters cut out of a magazine, and it said, "I know what you were doing, Wanda." And I was like, whoa, who put that in? Modern Family definitely seems to be getting some inspiration. The title of WandaVision at the end, that font looked very much like the Modern Family font. Have the little bit more of a shaky cam feel to them. We actually have moments where Wanda, Vision, Darcy, Agnes all talk to camera, total confessional style, very much like Modern Family and The Office. There's even one time where Vision looks directly in the camera. It was such a Jim Halpert face, but also from the tone, the music, a little bit more saucier types of humor in this, particularly from Darcy and Agnes, and even from Wanda. I had also got the vibe of like cable sitcoms, but obviously Modern Family, big inspirations for this. And Wanda is losing it because everything is glitching out around her. She's in her bed with a cover with hex symbols. Hex symbols seem to be a really big thing on this show. She wakes up still in her Halloween costume, and everything around her is just starting to glitch out. Bottles, TVs, the walls, everything is flipping back and forth between the various decades that we've seen so far on this show. There's one moment where Billy and Tommy are playing video games and their controllers turn from next-gen controllers to Atari controllers, Atari joysticks, all the way to Uno cards. Does that mean something? Or is that just product placement? I don't know anymore. So it seems that Wanda is losing touch with reality as well as losing touch with her reality that she has created around her. Then near the outskirts of town, we see that Vision wakes up in the middle of the carnival that was created in the last episode, which of course were all the former Sword agents. They think he's part of the show. They think he's one of the performers. And then he sees Darcy, who's not dressed as a waitress. I was expecting a Two Broke Girls reference. I didn't get it, but Darcy was still very funny in this because Vision's asking her for help, but Darcy is in sitcom mode, so she just thinks Vision is trying to hit on her. She's all like, back off, creeper. But eventually Vision does that finger thing. That doesn't sound right. Vision touches Darcy's head, gets her out of the sitcom mode so she's her actual self. Vision does not have any memory of what happened with him during the events of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While they're in a truck trying to get back home, Darcy is able to now explain to Vision all the events that took place, while Vision has some moments of confessional talking to camera, Office style. But for some reason, they keep getting stopped along the way. They have all these construction crews and school children walking by. Someone apparently doesn't want Vision to come back. Is it Wanda or... We'll get to that. Oh, I love that at one point, Vision in the car when they were kept getting stopped over and over again was just like, wait a minute, I can fly. What am I doing? Just flies out the car, leaves Darcy behind. Why do dudes keep leaving Darcy behind? But one thing that Darcy and Vision definitely figure out, and also Jimmy Woo and Monica find out through Darcy's research, is that Hayward has a secret plan that he hasn't told anyone else called Project Cataract. This was an attempt that Hayward had to try to bring Vision back to life because he wants to use Vision as a weapon. Do whatever nefarious weapon sword thing we want to do, or that he wants to do specifically. But no one has been able to bring Vision back to life until Wanda took his body, put Vision's body in the sitcom reality, and now, hey, we got a walking, talking Vision. He's definitely mad, and he's already planning his full-out attack on Westview, which is dangerous because that could mean all the people in town who are just trapped in there for all of this could now be in danger. So that's what Jimmy and Monica are trying to stop. So you remember Monica was like, I got to meet my aerospace engineer friend. And we're like, oh, that's got to be Reed Richards or Victor Doom, or maybe it's Rhodey, or maybe it's Blue Marvel or whatever. And it is revealed to be Major Goodner, the soldier that she knows. Like, I don't think is based on any particular Marvel hero or villain or anything. All right, I think this is a fake out. I think the actual person that Monica was talking about has not shown up yet. This is the person that just wanted to give Monica a space rover, because that's what they're going to use to try to break into Westview's barrier. A giant space rover with a drill on the front, looking like the freaking transport that Rocksteady and Bebop use in the Ninja Turtles cartoon. Tell me that didn't look the same way. Krang made that. Oh, Shredder, get me Wanda and Vision and get Vision's body. But Krang, I wanted to go into Westview and destroy the turtles. I'm gonna stop. Let me get back. Wanda is still freaking out, even when Agnes comes by, and Agnes is like, look, Wanda, you need some time to yourself. Let me take your kids away from you. And I'm like, no, don't do it. It's a trap. I especially love the bit where Agnes had Billy and Tommy and was like, don't worry, I won't bite. And then they do a cut to her confessional where she's like, well, I did bite a kid once. I think that has a double meaning. I think she legit did bite a kid once, like maybe for some powers, I don't know, to stay young or something, I don't know. And the part that got me is Wanda breaks the fourth wall again, is doing her confessional to the camera, not understanding why she has lost control of everything around her. The fourth wall talks back. You don't talk back, fourth wall, but it did. The fourth wall was all like, don't you think this is what you deserve? And I was like, damn, that's cold, fourth wall. Cut to commercial. This commercial, man, oh man, this is totally one of those depression commercials. They always trying to sell you some medicine or something. Are you feeling depressed? And they even got that lady's back, commercial lady's back, and she's all lying in bed, all depressed. It's like, do you want to get control of your reality? Then try Nexus. I love that line, anchor your reality or the reality you choose. Now, Nexus, I was like, I've heard that name before. I think it was in Fortnite. But seriously, Nexus, at least in the Marvel Universe, is sort of like the gateway to alternate realities. So again, if we're looking at possible multiverse happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, calling this depression medicine Nexus could be a hint of that's what's probably happening here. Some kind of opening to different worlds, or at least alternate realities. What I love is that they have all these different side effects listed for taking Nexus, and one of the side effects was more depression. So it kind of gives a vibe that you can do this if you want to make your life feel like it's gonna be better, but it ain't. And I love that last line, Nexus, because the world doesn't revolve around you. Or does it? Agnes is taking care of the kids. She's got a lot of bunnies and animals around the house. And then Billy, look, Billy, let me teach you a little lesson. I know you're new to the Marvel Universe, but here's the thing. When you're around somebody and you know something weird about them, you don't tell it to their face. Because we learned in the last episode that Tommy can run fast. He's got the Quicksilver powers, and Billy can read minds. He's got the Wanda-esque powers. So he's all like, I like it here. It's quiet. Agnes, you're quiet on the inside. Because you know how he was able to hear his dad, he's able to hear other people, but for some reason, he don't hear nothing about Agnes. And he says this to Agnes, and Agnes looks at camera, and I'm like, well, you kids are dead. Like, you just pretty much set your own grave there, children. Billy got y'all killed. Monica dresses up in an entire spacesuit, gets inside of the space rover / Rocksteady and Bebop's transport, and tries to go through the barrier. The freaking thing can't go through the barrier. This big, giant space rover trying to drill through, turns into a half truck, spins up and is like, nah, man, I ain't going in there. And then Monica looks back at Jimmy and is like, well, I've done it before. And Jimmy is like, don't you do it. And Monica's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like walking through the barriers. You see all these different like forms of Monica coming out, and it's all the different decades. Like you see like 70s Monica, 50s Monica. So basically you get like multiple Monicas. And I'm like, oh, I like this part. I already liked Monica. Now you giving me multiple Monicas? It's my birthday. If you have Monica walking through the gateway and then you see other Monicas beside her, does that technically count as a sister-sister reference? While she's walking through and you see all these different forms, you also see young Monica from Captain Marvel pop up. And then all of a sudden you hear all this dialogue. You're like, oh, who's talking? Sound clips from Captain Marvel. It sounds like the part where they were about to go into space. And Maria was like, I don't know if I should go. And Monica's like, no, you should go. I'll stay with Mom and Grandpa. Maria was like, I can't leave her by herself. You hear young Monica say, I could fly there and meet you halfway. And then you hear Nick Fury's voice and he says, not unless you can glow like your Aunt Carol. And I was like, okay, hold on now. Then you hear like Woo and someone else being like, your mom's a treasure. She's an inspiration. You also hear the mention of her dying. And then right at the very end, you hear Carol, Captain Marvel, say this line. I wrote it down because I was like, oh, this means something right here. Mom's lucky. When they were handing out kids, they gave her the toughest one. Now, she said this in the movie, but now I'm thinking it might have a double meaning. Was it just a nice like, hey, remember Captain Marvel? Or was this like, no, we picked these specific lines to mean something. All I know is after we heard that line, she closed them eyes, and when she opened them back up, she got blue eyes. And she's all like, this ain't nothing. Just walking through, strolling through that barrier. Blast out, looks around. You get to see her vision where everything is looking like inside of a lava lamp or a front cover of a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper. It's just all blue and purple, and you see all these electromagnetic pulses and waves. Eventually it goes back to normal, and you're just like, whoa, I can't wait to learn more about her. And I just love her. I just do. I freaking love Monica Rambeau. I love her. I love the actress that plays her, Tiana Paris. I just love everything about her. Where's her movie? I'm curious what her name is going to be in this when they finally give her the code name. She was Captain Marvel in the comics. They show that plaque where Maria Rambeau, her mother, had the nickname Photon, so she could take that name as an honor to her mother. Pulsar is also a possibility because we saw the pulses, the electromagnetic pulses that she was seeing. Spectrum, it is a show about television, and Spectrum is a cable service. I am Fios. Her astronaut suit broke down. She had like the full on, like going to the moon and everything. The suit didn't make it all the way, and what was left kind of looked like a superhero suit. You noticed that? I was like, oh, okay, I see little references here. And then Monica goes back to Wanda's house, but this time, Monica's like, you ain't blasting me through that thing again. I'm ready this time. So this time when Wanda like shoots her stuff out, like, you ain't supposed to be here, Monica's like, you can push me back, but you ain't pushing me all the way back. And she stood there and held her ground. And then she like does that superhero landing that, ba-doom, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's superhero now. Full superhero status. You see the blue eyes. Even Wanda was like, oh shoot. I wasn't expecting that. I thought this was a normal human being. I didn't realize there's some powers over here. I'm a little nervous now. They're doing this outside so everyone can see it. They even do a quick shot of Dottie. She like looks at me like, well, what's going on here? And then there's this mailman with like Presto on his shirt. I'm like, who's that dude? Why are they focusing on him a lot? Like they show a lot of other people looking around, but they focus on him. Wanda's like, I will take you out. Monica's like, do it then. Come on, do it. And Wanda won't do it. And then Monica's like, see, that's what makes you different from Hayward. You won't do that. They're trying to stop you. Let me help you before they make you the villain. And Wanda's like, what if I already am the villain? I was like, oh, damn, we screwed. You can't have that woman on your bad side. Do you see what she can do? Agnes notices all this is going on. So she leaves the kids who we haven't seen in a while after Billy did his whole, you're quiet inside. I'm like, see, I told you. She takes Wanda back to her house. And then they show that shot of that mailman again with Presto on his shirt. I'm like, that dude, I don't know if he's just a good actor and they were just like, keep the camera on him on that extra. But I'm like, nah, man, I don't trust that mailman. He probably stealing your mail too. Agnes was like, oh, that was crazy right here. Hang out. Also love it on Agnes's TV. There's a Yo Gabba Gabba. Yo Gabba Gabba apparently is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now I don't trust that show. Disney doesn't even own Yo Gabba Gabba. You gotta be upset if you are on Disney's channel and they had a chance to show a little kid's show and they didn't even choose a show that Disney made. You know Doc McStuffins is like, really? And then Wanda's like, wait a minute. It's kind of no kids up in here. I remember I brought 2 kids over here and now there's 0 kids. Agnes, where are my kids? And Agnes is like, oh, they probably in the basement somewhere. So Wanda goes down into the basement, and now the show has just become Stranger Things. I'm like, what the hell? We've completely left sitcoms altogether. It's all creepy and dark, and there's all these weird like vines and dirt and everything everywhere. And she goes in the basement, and it gets darker and darker, and you feel this like negative, dark energy all around. And then you see this book. And then she's all like, where's my kids? And she sees a rabbit in a cage. She sees like this bug somewhere. And I'm like, that's probably your kids. Agnes comes out and is all like, what's up, girl? You think you're the only one that can do magic around here? Check this out. And she starts glowing and moving her hands around. And she's like, yeah. Oh, by the way, my name ain't even Agnes. What? Agnes reveals that her name is actually Agatha Harkness. And hardcore comic book fans, I could hear them across the world going, I told ya! That wasn't me. I was just like, okay, her name's Agatha Harkness. But I'm sure some people were very excited that their theories came true. So yes, Agnes is Agatha Harkness. It's right there in the freaking name. I just realized it. Agnes. Agatha Harkness. She's apparently like a witch. I don't know that much about her. I know she's a witch in the Marvel universe. I'm sure we're going to get some more backstory on her next episode. But instead, the show is like, let's show you what she's been doing this entire time, set to a song. The moment they decide to give Agatha a theme song, and I heard that, burn it. I'm like, these fools are not about to do the freaking monsters up in here. And they sure did. They brought out this song And it is my favorite song right now, called Agatha All Along. And it's all like, burn in it, burn in it. It was Agatha all along, burn it, burn in it. And it's totally referencing the monsters. Even the title screen, Agatha All Along, totally looks like how the monster's name pops up on the screen. I was just like, dude, this song is a bop. I played it like 5 times. I'm not even playing. I thought the 80s song was my favorite, but this was a strong contender right here. It's just that burn in it, burn it. There's something about that part that just makes me happy. Hearing a monster's homage in a Marvel television show. Something I thought I would never have in my life happened. Now, the monsters didn't have lyrics, so I kind of feel like some of the lyrics where they were rhyming and saying Agatha all along, coming back to that every time in the song, was kind of also a homage to the Addams Family. Do another lyric here and there, then it's Agatha all along. And then you start seeing all these scenes that we've seen before, and they cut back a little bit, and you see, oh, Agatha was there the whole time. Agatha messed up the magic show. Agatha touched Herb and was actually controlling Herb. Agatha was controlling Pietro. She was just sitting out in the front yard while Pietro was like, hey, what's going on? Remember in the Halloween episode when Vision was talking to Agnes or Agatha, and we were like, doesn't look like she's actually frozen. She wasn't. They even cut out to Wanda's confessional, and Agatha is sitting in the director's chair like, what's up? And the icing on the cake, after they show all the messed up stuff that Agatha has been doing in Wanda's world, they have her turn to camera and just go, oh, and I killed Sparky too, and starts laughing. She's talking about the dog. I was like, damn. Oh, and I killed Sparky too. I was like, Catherine Hahn, I love you. This part was so amazing. I lost my mind. It was one of those things that like, I knew at some point we were going to get this kind of reveal, but just the way they did it, the style and the brand and it, like just mustering it up, Monster Addams Family it up with the reveal. Oh, it was so perfect, especially her being a witch. It makes so much sense. Genius as a choice reveal. That's one of those reveals I'm talking about where even though I know how it goes now, I can still watch that time and time again and still have that same emotion of like, damn, burning it. And that's when the episode ends. I'm like, God, oh, wait, no, you thought that was when the episode ends. Yeah, I love that this show has not had an after credit scene for 6 episodes. And then all of a sudden, episode 7, they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw one of them after credit scenes up in this. So we get this scene of Monica going over to Agnes's house. She sees a shed on the outside, opens it up, seems to be leading to the basement where Agatha and Wanda are. And right when she's about to walk in, who walks up? Good old Pietro, like, Snoop is gonna snoop. And I was like, oh shoot! And then they cut. I still have a feeling. I still feel like it might still be Fox X-Men movies Quicksilver, but maybe Agatha took him from his reality, put him in this reality because she knew that it was the same type of character basically, and then mind controlled him to be able to spy on Wanda to try to figure out how she's doing what she's doing. Because remember, Pietro was the one asking all the questions to Wanda. So I still feel like that could be a possibility. So now I'm really curious about how much of it is Wanda, how much of it is Agatha, even if Agatha is somehow controlling or manipulating Wanda, because even when they show the reveal of what Agatha's been doing the whole time, we go inside of Wanda's brain. Like you see this like fuzz around her and we go inside of her brain to see all of this happening. So I'm curious if they have a connection or if this has just been Agatha infiltrating Wanda's dream world with a bunch of mess. And then Ralph got mentioned a couple times again, so I feel like we're going to find out who Ralph is. Maybe he was that mailman. Presto. Yeah, dude. Oh, my God. This episode was just, the brain exploded. It just did. So awesome to see Monica's powers. So awesome to see the Agatha reveal. So awesome to hear and I cannot wait to see what happens next. We got a couple episodes left, so you know it's about to go down. I feel like the sitcom stuff is going to probably start dying out, and we now about to get into that Marvel battling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready for it. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of the references? If you're a big comic person and you know more about Agatha, if you know more about Monica, please feel free to educate us all in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this. Give this video a thumbs up because that always helps. And if you're new here and enjoyed this, then I hope you subscribe to check out the future videos I make where I geek out about all the kind of stuff that makes me happy. I love you like a play cousin. I'm out of 5,000.